Why don't you want the Shintech plant there?
Because we don't need it. We have too much industry there now, and it's not really and truly helping the people. You see people coming from all over to do that work. And I know this is a high-tech plant. When I went overseas, Japanese children go to school 365 days a year. They don't have these vacations like our children have here. So really and truly, that's why I'm concerned, because I know that it will not alleviate the poverty angle that's there. And if you visited any of the places in that area, really and truly with all the industry we have already, there isn't any reason for people to be living in that condition.
Well, now, do you think, you know, those industries have been there for a long time?
That's right.
And it doesn't seem like they've done much for the people there.
Thank you. So what in the name of providence would give you or anyone else the idea that this one is going to do so much?
You mean this one's not going to be any different than
Oh, it's going to be worse, because you have too many other industries coming in already. You have all the grain elevators, and then you have the iron ore plants coming in, 3 of those. You have the railway terminal coming in. So if work is the concern for the people in the area, whenever all this industry is erected, there will be too much work for a little St. James Parish anyway. People will be coming in from all over getting the jobs, and the poor blacks will be in the same fix they're in now. I don't see how anyone could be as gullible to think that Shintech is our salvation, a high-tech plant. And what I'm really concerned with, I know there is a problem with consuming the waste. I don't think my people are aware of the dangers of that incinerator that has to be erected. See, they're not talking about that yet. That is my main concern, because it is a mixture of what you burn causes dioxin. Dioxin is not one thing alone. You understand me? And I know, as well as I'm speaking here, once that incinerator is erected, I asked Mr. Eric Schroeder at a meeting at Pleasant Hill Baptist Church, would they commercialize waste? He said to me, no. That's what he answered me. But I'm aware of the serious problem with waste. There isn't any place at all. Now, waste can come down the river in barges. How would we know? Waste can, enough poisonous chemicals are coming up and down Highway 44, that little narrow highway. If we have a spill there, I want you to tell me, how will the people get out of these little narrow death trap lanes where 2 cars? See, you don't worry about the river road.
Wait, how are we in background? Do we need
Yeah,
to
background.
Give me a little bit here. If you just turn this way, maybe
But I'm
just a
talking about
bit.
people behind her. Do we?
Are they okay?
Yeah, or, well...
They're in there.
Are they?
Is that okay?
Actually, would you guys mind if you guys like...
Okay.
For someone who's never been to Convent, describe what the area is like. I mean, how many plants are there already?
Well, you have the river, and that's where the barges are. When we had that high water, there was a lot of barges breaking loose, you know. And what I'm concerned with, we had a barge that overturned in Baton Rouge. Benzene was overturned a whole solid week. We had all our black children at Southern University up in Scotlandville, a little above Baton Rouge.
But what the community itself? What's it like? How big is it?
What, Convent?
Yeah.
Who went up there yesterday? None of you people?
No, we all did, but whoever's watching this will not have the benefit of going there. So
Convent is we have the river, the levee, a little 2-way narrow lane highway. That is all we have. Trucks going up and down the highway. We don't know what they're carrying. And what I'm concerned with, we know some of them are chemicals, because I'm going to take the industry now, okay?
What was Convent like before the plants came to town?
Oh,
when you were
well,
younger,
all we had was the sugar cane farms, you know, because the plantations that Shintech are interested in, Helvetia and Wilton plantation, that was sugar cane. A few years back, Helvetia had a sugar mill back there where they ground the sugar cane and all. Well, that has been
What was it like
closed.
when you were younger? When you were
when I was younger, well, where I live is just a jungle on each side. That was 2 white families. They all moved away. Well, that was, don't let her do that, baby. They're going to hear that.
Yeah.
That was a fruit orchard. It was beautiful to walk down there. Come over on my side, all that was clean. I own 16 acres, but it's all grown up in the back. See, because all of my kids, y'all gonna have to go in then with her if she's gonna be making noise like that. Y'all gonna have to go in. I'm sorry, But we can't have the noise, baby, because it's going to distract, take her ingestion. I'm sorry, but don't let her stay by herself.
We'll get some pictures, though, of y'all afterward.
Yeah, we're going to get a group of y'all. But while I'm talking, see, we want the people. Okay.
So what was it like before all the factories?
Oh, it was beautiful because, like I said, you know, the fruit orchard on this side, and then in the back, well, then we had our animals there, the cows. Papa had his horses there, and we raised everything. We raised the hogs, we raised the chickens, we raised the ducks, we raised the geese. It was wonderful, you know, and of course I played the piano. All I did was just play the piano night and day, you know. Mama made her own wine, you know, blackberry wine, cherry wine. They made that white lightning too, in case you don't know, you know. It was a beautiful, you know, it was beautiful. And what it was no, just a little country town, a little one-horse town, that's all. We had Big St. Michael's Church, you know, that's still in Convent. You see that. We had at the county seat, but that was further up. Now it's down next to Manresa. I bought and cooked at Manresa for 17 years.
So it was like a one-horse.
Yeah, one-horse town. It was not, you know, no city. It was country. That's what it was, really country. And it was beautiful because everybody helped everybody. You know, now we got the people belong to the Brick House Club and different, you know.
Do you think? All right. So I'm just trying to get some order here. All right. So why do you think all these industries started coming to the town, to the area?
The same reason why they come in now, because there isn't any place for them to go. They have messed up the cities as well as you know. That is our last two plantations. All the rest industry has already bought them up. And why I don't want Shintech there, once they have taken our last two plantations, they will go on the West Bank. That's where they really are. And the people are not aware of that. And our local politicians, if everybody was like me, they wouldn't vote when election time comes. They would impeach them. And then we would get them all out because it's a sin and a shame for them to bring all that. That's not going to alleviate the poverty. It's not, instead of them bring something that everybody can do. You understand me? So everybody can work in this high tank plant.
So what you're saying is these plants started coming there because...
That's right, simply because they have the river, number one. Number two, they have the highway. Number three, they got the railway. You understand? Then we got natural gas there.
But is it also because they felt that the population, predominantly black, predominantly low income, wasn't going to speak out?
Look, I don't want to hear nothing but black and white. The whites we got there in my sight is no better than the blacks. You understand me? You see, I have traveled widely.
But do you think the plants started coming there because
why?
They figured the people, because they're poor, wouldn't speak
We're
out?
so gullible. That's why they keep coming here. Because we're so gullible. We'll believe anything people tell us. Not me, of course. Because they always say, I'm so different, you can't satisfy me. Me, it wouldn't be me with my big mouth and all of that. But they should have more like me. And then they wouldn't all be flocking there,
but
okay?
I also got to tell you, I believe that if Convent was a place of, you know, big farms with million-dollar homes and golf courses, I don't think these plants would have been coming there.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much. If you will just go back toward Gonzales, a little further up, that's Ascension Parish, you're going to see two strips of land. For 10 years, this Teresa, what's her last name, Robert, fought that. They wanted to bring waste, have a waste. She fought that. Now there's beautiful homes on this side. They're building a beautiful big golf course on that side. But you see, Convent, everybody keep their mouth closed. They don't care. Like me, at 71 years old, you know, I can't work in the plants. You know that.
So it's because the people weren't speaking out, and because and the businesses knew that the people didn't have the political power. So you got stuck.
Well, you see, I'm gonna tell you how it is. The rich gets richer, and the poor gets poorer. But what the trouble is, you can't. The poor is so desperate, you know, that they just reach and grasp at anything. Because I'm sure, had they been educated and knew the danger of this plant, they wouldn't be so gullible to say, oh, are we dying already? We don't want to hear nothing. We don't care about the pollution. Let them come. We want work. Well, why don't you try to find out why all these work fairs that they have for the plants, all the iron plants and
Why is your
everything that's
slogan,
coming on?
enough is enough?
Well, because we have enough industry. Why keep bringing us more? That's not helping us.
And do you think, you sound pretty cynical about the promises these companies are making?
Well, of course. I've been here so long. You understand
So
me?
what have you seen? Do they always promise?
Well, of course. But the only difference is now, you see, they've been coming in, they have been approved. All you see is something going up. Nobody bothers to find out what it is, you know. Because when I would go out and water my flowers 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I would get these terrible smells that you're getting daily now, you understand? See, that's about 30 some years ago. And when I would tell them that, oh, boy, I don't know where you get all that from. Well, they're sleeping. Like now, I don't sleep at night. You understand? When I go to bed in the morning, everybody going to work 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. You see, so they really truly don't know what's happening, and they don't care.
What do you think, what does environmental racism mean to you?
Environmental racism means to me that they put all of this junk on us. And look, when I went away, I saw it's not only the blacks now, the poor Mexicans. So as far as I'm concerned, the color is not white and black. The color is green, that almighty dollar. If you have enough money that you can stand up and say, don't come here, they're not coming.
And because
this organization that I belong to, that's a white president, that's a
Convent,
white vice president.
But because Convent doesn't have the money, and
that's
and
right. That's
they're
right.
going to come.
Just a few people that's just hanging on in there. You understand? They're going to come.
So, is this a case? Is this a case of environmental racism?
Of course, environmental racism, environmental justice. Because if Shintech locates here, you can add environmental destruction to the 3 environmentalists.
So this is
that will be an environmental destruction, because the children now are born with this upper respiratory. You understand? More women with breast cancer. Well, okay, the next generation will be worse, and the next generation will be worse until there won't be any more. Then that's a community, another community that's dead. No more Convent, no more Romeville.
How is this a case of environmental racism?
It is because they want to look how close, when you go up there, one point I think it's not quite a mile, they say, because if you do it from the air and then you do it from the river, it's different all the time, because as you go toward the back of the lands, it's narrow. So industry, we have Big Star Enterprise on this side. We got Zeno on this side. That's that grand elevator. Now Zeno is buying up everything. They have chips in the back. You understand me? That's very important to something, but I just can't remember what it is, because when they were talking about it, was the kids was a destruction.
But just very succinctly, how is this a case of environmental racism?
It most certainly is. What do you think that they say, for instance, this is Woodmere here. Do you think they would put a dangerous plant like that as close to Woodmere over there? Do you think so? Do you realize, I don't know about the West Bank, but we have is either 98 or 99% of our black children there.
So
then you have a low-rent housing project right next door to there.
I've heard that within the 3-mile area of Convent, there are like 5 industries.
That's right.
Is
Not helping us at all.
Is that right? Tell me what the industries are there. And
now, let's see now. Because you come down, because I live further down. But the first one would be Agricole, Uncle Sam. That was Uncle Sam Plantation. Then you have the audacity to name him after the plantation. That was Uncle Sam Plantation, okay? So now that is the sulfuric acid. Then you go up, there's the land, well, it was a highway. That was our only evacuation. There we don't have any evacuation, if you please. That next door to Agricole, that's where that big railway terminal is being erected now. The next door to that is where that large American iron ore reduction plant is going to be. Then you have the street or the highway, whatever it is. Right next door to that, you have Oxychem. That's a chlorine plant, okay? And you go a little further up, there will be another iron ore plant that they erect in there. So now next door to that iron ore plant is the 2 plantation sites that Shintech is interested in.
So within the, say, 3 or 5 mile radius
Oh,
of
that's
Convent,
no
how
5
many are
mile.
there?
That's approximately 3 miles, if it's that.
So
See,
within
we
3
have
miles of-
somebody that you will see in Convent. She got all that documented.
Right. So within 3 miles of Convent, how many
That's
factories
right.
are there?
Then on the West Bank, you didn't go on the West Bank now, you have agricofustine over there. That's fertilizer and that's ammonia. Because all these ammonia fumes beginning to go back to the children now at our Romeville school.
So within
See?
the 3 miles of Convent, how you can stand her for this? Within the 3 miles of Convent, how many factories are there roughly? 5?
Oh, let me see, I didn't finish. But you're saying Convent now. I have to realize all of that area is Convent now. So Agrico, the terminal, the iron ore plant, Oxychem, that's 4. Another iron plant, that's 5. And if I Zeno, that big, well, see, that's the Japanese owned, Zeno, the big grain elevator. Then you got the chips in the back. That's 7. And on the other side, well, in the school, that's about. Now, I should start at the beginning of the parish, because that's the way I usually count.
But they're roughly
See?
half
about
a dozen.
about 8 there,
Okay.
right there.
What,
And when you go to Convent, you see, you should have gone to Convent first, so I should have been with you.
right.
See, because we got a lady there, she knows exactly how many people live in each land.
When you first heard that Shintech was coming to town, what did you think?
I don't want them, I don't need them. Because I was overseas in 87, I knew what was happening over there. You understand me? I don't want them, we don't need them. If something was coming there to really and truly help the people, I would be for it 100%.
But you don't believe they're really trying to help?
I know they're not. Don't tell me what I don't believe, man. The people that they are brainwashed now. Because they told me somebody was up there yesterday talking with Shintech and whoever they brainwashed. I said, well, number one, the lady that's chairing that group, she was born and raised there, but that woman living in Grammy says she has a New Orleans number. She had 2 listings. You see? So now how in the world can she come up there and chair anything when she don't live there?
Well,
And that's what's happening. Everybody that works there don't live there. In the evening, all the trucks leaving away from there. And in the morning, all the trucks coming in to work.
But Shintech says...
He's tipping us. Yeah, he will tip y'all
If y'all play basketball, do something.
Yeah, all right, you.
Yeah, if you just ignore him, he'll take some shots.
Don't look
You
at
had
him.
to take some shot. Girl, you made me look at him.
Y'all, we playing 3 against 3. We playing 3 against 3, y'all. Come on. Nice shot. Me and Josh go pick. Me and Shooty. Yeah, let them be football picking. Yeah, God don't keep us out. Somebody shooting. Give me lead. Only 3 against 3. Come on, give me. We first take off. Let's go. Let's go. Ball. Give me Josh. Let me come see the news, man. Hey, let me take it. Get out. Let me take it out. Come on, y'all take the ball out. Like that way. We got down. Well, come on. Come on. Come on, take the Pull your back ball. What you doing? look at you like this. Yes, yes. Yeah, big fool, come back here.
Here, boy.
Shut up. Hey,
Y'all.
What is it?
Get up! Get up! Hey, what's doing that? I don't see him. He just late. Bro, I'm gonna take it off. I ain't hear this old man dribble it down. Yeah, it's not no either.
Man, do it, don't pass him. Don't pass the ball. They don't know what to do.
He ain't got nothing for y'all.
Man, y'all didn't pass no ball.
Let's stick it up.
Soon, right? Man, soon. Come on.
Come on, man. Now
You
you
ain't
play.
got nothing. Oh, yeah, come on. Hands out right here.
Hey, soon.
Miss. Give me a, let me take it out. Watch that. I was trying to pass. No. Get out, Mooney.
Just get out the way.
I ain't in.
Mooney, he gotta move. He's trying to catch them.
Get out the way, man.
I need you.
Tell Smiley, go to the camera.
Mona, let me see that pic.
I'm gonna get it back.
You ugly, girl.
You need to shut up. No, man. I'm just
Y'all don't need to smile in front of the camera. One team missing at the front. Hey, y'all. Sing that song. You bringing it today yet? You ain't bringing it today. You might bring it tomorrow.
You know what you're gonna do for me? You want to go catch my long rope in the house? Yeah, we all come. Go ahead, Ranisha.
No, I'm about to whoop your tail and I told you go get in that tub and put on some clothes.
What's in the what's in the ABC?
Don't forget it. That's what you gotta do. Don't forget it. Oh, oh. They're gonna shoot some more b-balls. Yeah, y'all see that? Y'all see that?
Don't look at him, just look straight past him down the road. Where you going now?
Oh, look at Josh. Talk, Josh. Oh, look at Josh. Oh, y'all on videotape. Yeah. Ooh, they real long.
right, Josh, what's up, man?
Days, I think. That's the last I heard.
He was trying to make me see something on that cardboard, but
think
it was
it's a
too small to
5:30.
read. I couldn't read.
5:30.
But I couldn't see it. It was too small. That's a bad thing.
Happy Gary. Yeah, go look who.
Move, Maya. Don't you go in that little pile.
What you doing, man? Where y'all, man? Yo.
Ah, what's behind you? Now get out there. Move them down. Come in now. Oh, yeah.
I wish you took him for.
Before I miss.
Oh. Come on. Jump in.
Hi, y'all.
I'm trying to get on TV just like y'all know.
I know.
Go jump, Mike.
Who Josh is crooked?
You cooking your watch. Call me a name.
Hey!
Why you making me
Man,
mad? Oh, Lord. Here comes hot water.
You missed. We gotta take Lita. Yeah, Big Mama gotta do it. We gotta take Lita. Come on, y'all. Hi.
Hey, man.
Who this out? Come on this side. Come on. Hi. Stay back there. What are you?
Now stand in front of the camera, man. He said just stand and look in front of the camera. Ain't kept but on West Side. Say hi, Mom. Say hi, Mom. That's what friends are for. Just say, Mom. Good time. And a bad time.
Who does
Tell him
that?
break themselves. Say, I like to be on TV.
Come on.
I like to be on TV. Big.
Hey, get it, get that way. I gotta take the E. Sorry. Who taking the
Yeah, let's go back on the court. Put on a complete.
Oh, I just saw you thinking of that. Turn it.
Tanika.
What, Tweaker? You wouldn't even turn. And
This is your housing shot.
Close the door. Close the door.
No, close knuckle.
Close it. I don't know what he told me. I know. Hey, Newz. Come here. Come here, Jenny. We're gonna tell you something. Should have put a hat on. Now, right here. Look at the camera. Look to the camera.
That's a big camera. That's a big camera.
You watched the movie that night?
I love you. You love me? Yep.
She loves you. Come on here.
Why is this a case of environmental justice, environmental racism?
Because our community is already so impacted by the chemical facilities that are here. We bear an overburden of toxic chemical exposure and the health risks that are associated with that. We have a very high incidence of cancer, extremely high incidence of respiratory diseases in children and old people. So we're already disproportionately affected by the toxic, deadly chemicals and the health factors associated with that. And in addition to that, this is a predominantly poor and African American community. And so we believe that the siting of still yet another toxic facility in this already disproportionately overburdened community is a prime example of environmental injustice, environmental racism.
And it's not just racism as related to skin color, it's socioeconomics, what you're also saying.
Right, we believe that it's a case of environmental injustice, that it's a case of exploitation of poor people in the name of profit and greed. And we believe that one population of people, a population of poor people, is being sacrificed for the interest, the economic interest of a totally another, different population.
Is it, I mean, I'm sorry, you were saying?
In a 2-mile radius of the proposed place that they're going to build it, there are 2,017 African American people within a 2-mile radius, one way or the other. So that really constitutes racial injustice.
Now, my understanding is the parish itself is roughly 50% black and white, but the two districts with which a large number of these plants are in are predominantly African American, predominantly poverty-stricken.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right.
Right, and one thing that's also so important here is that this area, in St. James Parish alone, there are 4 facilities that have a 6-mile or greater vulnerability or kill zone in the case of a chemical accident or emergency. 3 of those facilities are located in districts 4 and 5 within a 2 to 3 mile radius. If Shintech were to locate here, that would be 4 of 5 facilities in the entire parish that would be located within a 2 to 3 mile radius. So we're not only impacting people with the toxic emissions, but we're making an already extremely vulnerable community more vulnerable.
Why is it that you think that all these plants have been moving here over the years?
They claim it's because of all the deep water access and the raw material accessibility and all of that. But I think one reason is because of the incentives that the state government offers to these types of chemical facilities that nobody else wants. No other states want these chemical facilities, and so they're coming to Louisiana and to St. James Parish. And I believe it's because our elected public officials, both on the local and state level, are working with them to make sure that that happens. I mean, we have documents to show that our elected public officials are actually working with the industries to come in however they have to get in. We have dossiers being sent on the local parish government officials that have to make permitting decisions. This was sent out of the office of the parish president. Dossiers on every member of the
Right,
commissions
but-
in the parish that have to make decisions.
Basically, you're saying that they're picking this parish because of the lack of economic resources of the population. Is that?
Definitely, because of the lack of resources that the population has to be able to fight, to get into this process, and to be able to fight these industries from coming in. In fact, the governor, Governor Foster, has tried to intimidate the law clinic and get them not to represent us in this. So they're trying to deny us our basic rights to legal representation.
When you all heard that this plant was coming here, what did you think? What was your first reaction?
Not another chemical plant.
No more.
We don't need, enough is enough. We have enough. We have enough air pollution around here.
I mean, one of the things that's sort of fascinating about this is that even though these plants have been here for so long, there really has never been much independent study of the cumulative health
Right.
effects
No.
of all these plants.
And we are asked constantly, why aren't you fighting the existing plants? And our answer is, we didn't know anything about environmental things then, but we know about the environment now.
This has been an education for you?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Definitely.
yes, definitely.
Yes. All
day
kinds
one.
of ways.
What have you learned?
Huh.
We wish we would know some of the things we learned.
We've learned a lot about the regulatory agencies and a lot of the wheelings and dealings that go on behind the scenes that sacrifice people's lives in the name of economic prosperity for whoever, whatever that economic prosperity means. We've learned a lot about the chemicals. We've learned a lot about all the chemicals that are being produced here and the deadly effects they have on people. And we've learned a lot about the cancer rate. Now we're getting statistics. We knew it from our lived experience already because we know all of the people we love are dying of cancer and have upper respiratory illnesses, but now we're seeing the statistics. And the effects that these chemicals have on people and what's being produced has been a well-kept secret by industry for many years. And it's taken a long time to get those right-to-know laws on the books. Now we have a legislative session that's in session right now, and they're trying to wipe out the laws that are on the books to protect the citizens and the citizens' right to know. They're trying to wipe out in one sweep, under the direction of Governor Foster and under his encouragement, all of the laws that it's taken 20 years to put on the books.
What do they call this alley?
Cancer
Alley.
Cancer Alley. My mother died of cancer. My aunt died of cancer. My next door neighbor died of cancer. The small community and Convent that I live in is being wiped out, and most of those people died of cancer. We have not only the common types of cancer that you hear about, but we're having rare forms of cancer around the nation that are becoming common here. Pancreatic cancers, brain cancers, leukemia in children. We're starting to see leukemia. We're seeing lupus.
But someone would say, well, if this is really happening, something must be being done about it. There must be someone.
Well, one of the studies that was done on the cancer incidence in Louisiana, comparing it to the national average, was done by a university in the area that received huge grants from the chemical industry. And so if we can get an unbiased study by a research team that doesn't receive grants from the chemical industries, then maybe we can take their statistics and buy into that.
What do you think this has done to the community of Convent? I mean, the attempt by Shintech to come in here, has it divided the community? Has it?
Oh, yes.
Well, a lot of people are afraid to talk. That's what our problem is. They may be against Shintech, but they're so afraid because they work in these industries and they were warned, don't open your mouth. So we feel like even our public officials won't even look at us anymore. And I mean, we elected them. And they prove now that they're not here to represent us. They're here to represent big industry. And that was a disappointment, a real big disappointment to me.
But you all know the argument, and is that, jobs, that's the most important thing, and that yes, there are always risks when industry comes, but that they provide opportunity, that they
Well,
provide
jobs are fine, but if everyone's in ill health, who will get these jobs? Because one of the first things you have to do is take a physical. If you can't pass their breathing test or some kind of physical, you don't even have a chance to get there.
Shintech is sort of, though they say they have not promised jobs, when you talk to a lot of, you think they have promised?
It was in the paper that they were going to have 165 jobs available $2,000 to build a plant. And most of the plants that are here now were built by African Americans, but you saw how they live up there. So it really didn't help. Sure, you can build our plant, and after the building is off, then you're gone.
And one thing that you have to realize also is that there are some other industries that are just coming to the parish, a direct iron ore reduction facility. They're already hiring, but they're hiring people who are already trained and work in other industries. So basically what they're doing is drawing people from the other industries who are already trained, and so the unemployed person on the street is more than likely not going to get those jobs.
So Shintech talks about 165 jobs, but it's not 165 local jobs, it's
of course
people
not.
from outside.
Of course not. In fact, a large percentage, probably the majority of the people who work in the industries who are already here are from outside of the parish or not local. They need to define local. Does local mean the Convent Romeville community? And even if it does, we don't believe we have to sacrifice our lives for livelihood. We believe that economic development doesn't have to mean that they're bringing all these dangerous jobs. Why do we get the raw chemical facilities? Why don't we get the assembly lines and the clean jobs and the finished products, that people can have jobs that they can live with rather than jobs that they have to die from and that their families have to die from?
Why don't you?
Because evidently the officials who are going out and pursuing these industries are not pursuing the clean industries, the finished products. They're pursuing the chemical industry. And we have documents here that show you exactly that. That Metrovision claims just that the thing that they're here to do is to attract the chemical industry to this corridor. And in fact, they mention targeting plastic and chemical industries. That's what they're going out to market.
Do you think, what's your impression of the Shintech guys? I mean, they're pretty slick.
Yes, oh, they're very slick. They're
they
good
PR
people.
Neighbor.
Very good people. They're all trained at the same school.
They never show anger. They're always smiling. Even though things have happened to make them angry, the smile is always there.
They say the things to everybody that everybody wants to hear. If you want to hear about jobs, they'll talk to you about jobs. If you want to hear about something else, they'll talk to you about that. You asked also if the community was divided over it. It depends what community you're talking about. The Convent community, this is a petition which we gathered in opposition to Shintech. We have over 1,000 signatures on this petition. The majority of these signatures are by people who live in the Convent Romeville area. The majority of Convent Romeville people are against this facility. The only ones who spoke in favor of that facility at the air permit hearing were people who own businesses outside of the Convent Romeville area. No local resident from the Convent Romeville area spoke in favor of Shintech at the air permit hearing. Not one. Everybody who spoke in favor of Shintech at the air permit hearing were paid consultants of Shintech or employees from their Texas facility that they flew in to speak in favor. There was only one man that spoke in favor who did not own a business and who was not employed by Shintech or was not a consultant, and he was a gentleman from the west bank of the river.
Earlier you said enough is enough, and I know that's been the sort of the rallying cry. What does that mean? I mean, that sort of speaks to a history that has gone on before here.
Enough health problems, enough empty promises, enough bringing all the chemical plants around here that's very dangerous, very toxic.
What do you mean empty promises? Have there been, does every company that come here sort of make promises?
Well, I can kind of say it in the words of J.B. Schexnayder, a school board member. He said, we've been hearing the same song and dance for years, but we're still left singing the blues. So all of these industries have promised the same thing. And with the number of facilities we have in this St. James Parish, there should not be one local St. James Parish resident who wants a job that is out of a job. We have over 12 TRI facilities that have to report the chemicals they release. 12 major industries in this parish. That's not counting the small businesses. There should be a job for everybody in this parish already with the existing industries without having to bring more in. And this is our future. When we say enough is enough, it doesn't just mean our past. It means what we're looking at if the government and the EPA and the DEQ does not get serious about its permitting obligations. All of the areas in blue are facilities that are already here. All of the areas in red are available properties for chemical industrial development. As you can see, the majority, this is St. James Parish, the majority of the available property that's going to be marketed for chemical industrial facilities is in the 4th and 5th district. Here's the Convent Roneville area. Notice where the blue is. Those are where the existing facilities are.
So
notice the red.
So these are the two areas that are predominantly African American, poorer than the rest.
Right.
On both sides of the river.
Right.
Both sides.
And this is where the bulk of the industry is.
This is where the bulk of the industry is now, and that's where it's planned.
And that's no coincidence, you said.
No, we say that's no coincidence. We believe that's very intentional.
I'm sorry?
So they know what they're doing.
I'd like to address something you asked about why aren't other kind of industries coming here after a DEQ meeting, and I won't call the representatives' names. We asked him that question, and he said because it's not going to bring in enough money. So they want money. The vendors who live here are going to reap the benefit, not the African American people or anybody else around here.
It's hard not in talking with some of the people in town who are supporting the plant, not to sort of get a sense that there's things going on that you don't exactly have evidence of, but you kind of get a sense that, you know, things have been said to people, promises have been made, or some people have said money has changed hands. Do you have those suspicions? I mean, do you have those feelings?
Well, I think the whole world knows about Louisiana politics and what goes on and the corruption that's involved here. And we are starting to get a sense of that from all of the documents that we see here. When we look at telephone memos and we look at letters and we look at meetings that take place and the dates on those meetings and the people involved in that, there's a pattern forming. There's a pattern forming between the state officials, the local parish officials, the PR firm for Shintech, and this new movement that's in support of Shintech, and that's all come about very recently. So we believe Shintech has indeed infiltrated the community with the assistance of the state officials and the local parish officials. We definitely believe that, and we believe that based on the documents that we've been able to pull.
How does it change? I mean, it's got a drastic, I mean, it seems like previously, you know, either hadn't paid attention or just didn't have the information about a lot of the plants that were here, and you've undergone this sort of transformation in the last couple of months, basically. What is it? What has it done to your beliefs about the way things are? I mean, the way.
We don't have any confidence at all in any of our officials anymore, especially the local ones.
I'm having trouble believing anything anybody say anymore. And I don't want to get like that. You know, our area stinks. I go camping a lot. And when we come in, before we get close to New Orleans on this area and close to Baton Rouge, you can smell the air. It's a big difference. And I just don't even care to live here anymore. If I have 6 children and 13 grandchildren that live around this area. If it wasn't for that, I would move yesterday. And I'm not proud to tell people I'm from Louisiana anymore.
Well, I'm fighting because I don't want to move. I love where I live, but I mean, if the pollution's going to drive us out, I guess we're going to have to go. And where do you start? I might have to start from scratch. I mean, I've worked hard for the little bit I have. And my husband works in this area. I mean, is it going to mean that he's going to have to travel an hour or so? I don't want to move. I am not going to move. And I mean, the way it is, I might be the black sheep of this community, but I will keep talking. And maybe our words will get through to the people that are afraid to talk. I just can't get over the fear in people's lives that if they open their mouth, either their job's at stake, their friends are at stake, and I really don't care.
Exactly.
I mean, you're going to let your health go because you want to live with a lot of money? What good is money if your health is going?
And you really believe that this one plant being here will make that big a difference?
In relation to all the others.
Yes.
Enough is enough. We have enough. We need to deal with what we have now. Let our emergency preparedness, work out their plans with what's going on now. Let clean up. No, I can't say clean up because I don't know. I hate to say that because we're not here to cut down our existing industries. But I think if we work with the industries we have now, we can get jobs. Let them go somewhere where they really need jobs.
And you know, yes, this one industry is going to make such a difference because of the chemicals this industry is going to be creating and producing and discharging. They are going to be making EDC, VCM, PVC, chlorine. These are all very dangerous chemicals. We have here from the DEQ what these chemicals actually cause. They cause cancer, they cause genetic and chromosome mutation, they're toxic, they cause birth defects, damage reproductive ability of men and women, and on and on and on. Every one of these special concerns that's associated with the dangerous chemicals is associated with chemicals that Shintech is going to be producing and discharging and emitting into our air and our water.
But they say, you know, we have a great record, we're going to have safety things in place.
They don't have a perfect record, and we have a list of various violations that have occurred at their PVC facility in Texas. That facility is not even the same as this facility. They do not have an EDC, VCM, PVC chloralkali facility in Texas. They have a PVC facility in Texas. And so they do not have a spotless environmental record. They have been fined numerous times. And we have a list of those violations and the fines that they have been given because of those violations.
What they say is, look, we can't guarantee 100% safety.
No,
No one can.
Right. Then they say no one can. What they do say is that, and I guess what makes a difference between something that is ruled to be environmentally just and environmentally unjust is, okay, no one can guarantee 100% safety, but the contract that is made with the community is that, all right, we will do our best. You will assume a certain level of risk, not an unreasonable level of risk, but you will assume a level of risk, and in return for that, you will benefit with jobs, with opportunities.
Who will benefit? Will our district benefit? We don't even have a store here. I mean, there's no business.
Did you see the roads, how bad they
The road?
were? We should have
Is
the
that
best
our
roads
tax?
in
Who's paying
Louisiana.
our-
We have the
where's our
most
taxes
plants
going?
around here.
So you don't believe this talk of being a good neighbor, a good partner, a good...
No way.
Of course not.
No.
They've constantly been deceptive and cleverly deceived not only DEQ but the people in this community with their rhetoric. And you brought up the fact that, yeah, we might have to assume some risk if we're going to have the industry in and reap the economic benefits. It is an unreasonable risk to ask an already disproportionately impacted community to bear. We're already bearing an overburden of toxic pollution in this area. So it's unreasonable. It's unreasonable.
In 1994, President Clinton signed the executive order that talked about environmental justice. That was 3 years ago. Do you kind of feel like no teeth in it?
No. No teeth in it. He just made a rule. But you have to have things that are done in black and white, and there's a law to go along with it today.
And so he signed this thing, but nothing else
Nobody pays any attention to it.
It looked good on paper.
Well, everybody's passing the buck. DEQ says they don't look at the environmental justice issues. EPA says we're looking at it, and when we ask them for the criteria and guidelines they're using and exactly what they're using to analyze the issues we've raised, they don't have any. They tell us we don't have that. We don't have it. Well, in the absence of those criteria and guidelines, then they can continue to ignore this environmental justice issue. They can continue to say, we just don't have the final criteria and guidelines to do it. And so they allow Shintech to come in, and then they allow the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So when are they going to begin to implement the President's executive order? We say in the absence of that criteria and those guidelines, then you deny the permit based on the absence of those criteria and guidelines until you can come up with some definite criteria and guidelines, and you can base your decision on that. We have the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, a federal agency that just denied a uranium enrichment plant in Homer, Louisiana. If one federal agency can deny it based on environmental justice, environmental racism, then why shouldn't another one also be able to do it? And from what we understand, Region 2, EPA in Region 2, which is I think in the New Jersey area, also gave a ruling down on an environmental justice issue.
If the director of EPA made the mistake of stumbling in here and sat at the table, what would you ask? What would you ask her?
We would say, Administrator Browner, we ask you to revoke the air permit which DEQ has just recently issued to Shintech, based on the environmental justice issues we have raised that we believe we have proven exist in this area. This is a clear case of environmental racism, environmental injustice, and it is your duty under the law to deny this permit.
Do you ever want to ask, like, what have you all been doing for 3 years?
We have asked that question. We have asked that question of Jane Saginaw in Region 6, and all of her legal people who were there. And the answer was, we just don't have what you're asking for. We don't have the kind of comprehensive guidelines that you're talking about to direct our investigation. And so we asked them, then how can you claim to be doing an analysis of something if you don't have the guidelines to direct that analysis? What are you basing your analysis on? And they never would give us that. They never could give us that.
Eric, do you have anything you want to?
Yeah, Pat, if I could just get you to, in a couple of paragraphs, what was your mission statement? What was the group's mission statement?
I really would like to give it to you exactly. In my own words. Exactly.
Well, just you can just say.
It's in
You
there.
know,
Just
when,
cut it
when
out.
you
I don't know
decided
what
that
to
it
do
was
with it.
time to move, what in just a couple short paragraphs, what was the mission statement?
When we formed this organization, is that what you're asking me? Our mission statement was to work for and with this community and involve as many people in this community as we could in bettering this community, bettering the economic opportunities that are available, bettering the educational system, bettering the environment of this community. So our mission and our goal is to bring about a better quality of life for people in St. James Parish, a better quality of life. We are a human rights group. We believe that people have certain basic human rights, the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And if you deny us our right to life, then you've denied us the other rights along with that. And we believe that's happening. So we want to work for a better quality of life in St. James Parish, for everyone, not for a select few.
Do you feel just kind of that people have forgotten about y'all? I mean, that people outside just don't pay attention? I mean, you talked about sort of losing faith in things. Do you feel that?
They losing hope. They say, what's the use? Y'all doing all this work, and Shintech's gonna come anyhow. You know, they just like lost hope. Most of them.
What was Convent like before? I believe it was like 25 years ago that Louisiana started really trying to get these industries in here. Before, there was like, what was this place like? Do you all have memories of it? Or?
The air it didn't stink. The air was clean. The water was clean. We can't drink the water out of the river. We have to buy bottled water to drink. And the poor people can't afford that, so they drinking it. And
there were large families that lived here. People, they farmed the area. It was agricultural, but the families stayed together and they stayed here. Now what's happening is we're having a migration of people out of this community. Some come back to work and then they go back home somewhere else. And so you have families separating and going in their opposite directions. We're seeing our community, the families, just being isolated and separated. And you know,
well, this economic development has not helped the population of St. James Parish. We have not grown. In fact, I was reading a book way back in, I think, the 1900s. I think the population was 19,000. Right now we got 21,000. I mean, where is everybody? Our neighboring parishes have grown. The people have stayed here, but our people are leaving.
Well, you know, where are they going to build homes? We're using up all of our prime, fertile, green farmland, so we're not going to be able to grow food. All of the land is being taken by industry and the industrial waste. I'm sure you've seen that a lot of our land has turned into an industrial waste dump. Actually, that's waste dump, that's land that can never ever be used for anything else. Homes cannot be built in this area. Where in Convent can homes be built now if the large plots of land are going to be sold and marketed for industrial development?
There's some who say, you know, DEQ has passed on this, has ruled the plant has the right to start construction. Y'all should just give up. And
never.
We're not giving up.
Never giving up.
We can't give up.
We're not going to give up.
Why not?
We've gone too
Why?
far.
We've gone too far. We put too much of ourselves
It's the
in it.
injustice. We're going to fight the injustice. Even though our politicians are not helping us, someone's got to, we may be talking to deaf ears. We're going to still talk. Maybe somebody's going to listen to us.
And by the way, Shintech said they were going to begin groundbreaking in November and begin construction in early spring. They haven't done that yet. So they're saying they're going to buy this property and build. We're saying, Shintech, you are not coming here. We will not allow you here. We are going to stop you. And we believe that victory is ours. It's waiting for us. So they intend to be here, but they are not coming here. And we're not going to give up until the last T is crossed and the last dot is put on the I. We are not giving up this struggle. You can't give up when you're fighting for justice sake. And when you fight for justice sake, you have that on your side and you can't lose. So we can't lose in this. We won't. We believe that somewhere in this maze of bureaucracies, there's got to be still an individual, one individual, who's in a permitting decision-making position that's going to do what's right and just. We have found out along the way that these permits are issued based on political and economic factors, and the technical and the environmental justice kinds of things are not the considerations that go into these permit decisions. But we're hoping, and we have to still believe, with all that we've seen, with all the corruption we've seen, with all the wheeling and dealing we've seen, we have to believe that there's still one individual that's going to do the right thing, that has the decision-making ability. And we believe that that's going to have to be Carol Browner. We believe Carol Browner is going to do that. And we call upon her today to do what she knows is right and to deny this permit and to revoke the permit that the DEQ has issued and not to succumb to the political pressure that we know is being placed on EPA in Washington, the way that the state DEQ has succumbed to that political pressure.
All right. I'm sorry to have to